Good Monday morning, everyone. Sure hope your week's off to a great start. I want to get right into James chapter 4, verse 13 and following. You know, James gives us another couple of gut punches when he talks to us a little bit about mindsets that can cause us to drift further away from God and put our trust maybe in ourselves as opposed to putting our trust and confidence in Him. So the example that he uses is, he says, those of you who say today or tomorrow, as if we have the ability to make tomorrow happen. And he says, you know, you say to yourself, on the next day or the next day, I'll go into this place and do such and such, and I'll make money and all these kinds of things. And James looks at us and says, but you don't even know what your life holds for tomorrow or whether there will even be a tomorrow. He says your life is like a vapor. It's like a mist. It's here for a moment and then it's gone. It's like that breath that we see in a cold morning, and it comes out and we can see it, the visibility of it, and then it just dissipates and goes away. And God describes our life that way in a couple of different ways. He talks about it being a vapor. He talks about being a breath. He talks about being withered grass. And all of those things ultimately fade away, and they go away quickly. They're only here for a short time, and then they're gone. And so he's reminding us that what we need to be doing is not worried about what tomorrow holds, but thinking about the one who holds tomorrow, and ultimately be grateful and thankful for the day that we're receiving right now, and to take advantage and to use this day to glorify and honor God. The second warning comes in the form of those who are rich. He says, hey, you've been oppressive to people, and you've been difficult. You've actually used your money and your situation and your, quote, significance as a way to oppress and push other people down, and you've used it in a way that God is not pleased with. And so he says, rather, instead of being like that, you need to be a person who is willing to share and willing to do good. And so we talked about how in James chapter 5, it pairs up really nicely with 1 Timothy chapter 6 when Paul is talking to Timothy. And ultimately what he says to him in verses 17 through 19 of that passage, he says, ultimately, the rich in this world need to not be of a haughty spirit, but to really place their confidence in God and to recognize what life is really out there for someone who puts their confidence in Jesus. And so he goes on to give them really 4 things that they can do if they're a person of wealth, a person of resources. And what can we do to be a blessing to the rest of the world? Well, first of all, he says, be rich in good works. We talked about that in the book of James quite a bit. This is just us being creative, you know, looking for ways that we can be supportive and helpful for others. But then also the second thing he says is share with those who are in need and give of what you have. So that's like when we hear about tragedies that are going on around us and the church is informed about something, and all of us give our resources and pool them together to be able to help that one specific thing. But the third thing that he says is spiritually invest. And what he means by that is for us to really begin building treasures in heaven. And that's talking about our personal relationship with God, our prayer, our study time, our thoughts, and our looking for ways to be of service to other people. But also, you know, we talked in the sense of what it is to give to the church and how the church is such an organization that helps so many people in Christian organizations. And there are lots of things that we at Madison do to support those things. But we're not talking just about the things that we already support. We're talking about what are we given to that may be yet to be revealed. Maybe it's something down the road that God is going to open our eyes up to new opportunities. So be thinking about that and reassess your giving. Really think about what you're giving at church. Can you do more? And what can we possibly do if all of us are pooling those resources together to be helpful to other people? And the last thing is this, just stop and recognize God's blessings. I mean, see how He is giving you so many things. Again, it's not wrong to have wealth, but when that wealth becomes self-serving and self-indulgent, the Bible really refers to that as sort of a sinful practice and a mindset that doesn't put our trust back in God. It puts our trust in those riches. So your actions item this week is 1, reassess your giving and your generosity. Find other ways that you can be supportive and helpful for other people with the resources you have. And the second thing is, don't take any day for granted. You don't know what tomorrow brings, or even if there will be a tomorrow. So make the most of your day today. And I hope you guys will do that and have a great week. We love you. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday and on Sunday. And if you're on spring break this week, have a great trip. We'll talk to you soon.